For Inside Carolina, I'm Taylor Vippolis, and today I'm here in the Queen City with the Hall of Famer, UNC Football head coach Mack Brown. Mack, appreciate you taking the time and talking with me today. You've had time now to kind of digest spring ball. What were your biggest takeaways with your team coming out of spring?
Taylor, I think the biggest thing is we're more disciplined. We're better coached. They seem to be more engaging. The first 2 years, I thought we played hard every week. We did a good job. Last year, it was up and down. I can't stand that. It wears you out. But this spring, we didn't have a bad practice. They worked hard every day. All of our coaches are getting along. We got new pieces that had to work in. So I think we've got a chance. You know, we're probably not better than anybody, but we're about as good as everybody. So we got to do a good job coaching. And the guys have to buy in, and they got to play better.
Coming out of the spring, where would you say the most room to grow is for your team between now and that first game against Florida A&M?
You know, with young quarterbacks, that's always a question mark. Sam had such a great run for us for 3 years, and now we got to get some new faces in there. We got to figure out what that means, who starts and who plays, and so that's a huge piece of this. We've got to continue to work on stopping all the sacks, not having tackles for loss. We've protected the ball well, so we can continue to do that. And we've got to get depth on both sides of the ball. Defensively, we got to stop the run on first down. We just haven't done that for 3 years. And until you do that, you're not going to have turnovers, and you're not going to have the sacks that you want. So we've got to stop the run on first down. We've got to play the deep ball better, not give up the explosive plays, and we've got to force more turnovers. Kicking game, we were great at blocking kicks last year. We weren't very good at kickoff return. In fact, we were bad. And we weren't very good at punt return. We're just okay. So we got to do a better job with punt, and we got to do a better job with kickoff return.
A lot of people are excited about Coach Chizik back in Chapel Hill, myself included, as he was my defensive coordinator during that 2015 season. What have you seen kind of from the guys' reaction to bringing in somebody like Coach Chizik, where once he's kind of once he steps in a building, he kind of demands that presence?
He does. Gene, number one, he gets it. When he walks in the room, everybody turns and looks, and he's earned that right because he helped us win a national championship at Texas, and then he wins a national championship as a head coach at Auburn. So very seldom can you get a guy that's won 2 national championships. And then his credibility here was that he and Charlton won 11 games and 8 games when they were here before, and our talent was a struggle because I saw it the spring that he took over. And he did an unbelievable job, and he's fresh with his 5 years out of coaching. He's excited to be back. He loves Chapel Hill, and the players are really buying in. So I'm excited to see the improvements we'll make on defense.
You mentioned the quarterback battle going into this fall. When you're looking at these 2 quarterbacks, what could, or even 3 when you add in somebody like Connor Harrell with Drake May and Jacoby Criswell, what can you do from a coaching staff perspective to kind of take some of that pressure off, knowing that they do have huge shoes to fill in somebody like Sam Howell?
Well, number one, you can run the ball better, more consistently. You can protect better. You can give them some easier throws to get started. So we'll look at all those things, which we probably should have done more of that with Sam last year. But I think the biggest thing is that we put a lot of pressure on them this spring. Every practice was like game speed because we wanted them to have to respond to live game speed type situations every day. So when they get in the fall, they won't be shocked and pull in this stuff. We wanted them to play against a good defense with a lot of looks. So we said no holds barred. We're turning it loose and letting it go. So they had a lot of pressure this spring. Connor obviously just got here. He's talented. But he won't be in the mix to start with. It's going to be Jacoby and Drake and those 2 competing to see who gets the starting spot.
You have playmakers on both sides of the ball, somebody like Josh Downs who goes for over 1,000 receiving yards last year. You have somebody like Cedric Gray on defense who led the team in tackles last year. Who would you say would be your pick for an under-the-radar player that maybe fans can start to get excited about now for this upcoming season?
Gosh, I would think that Power Eccles did a really good job this spring at linebacker. He would probably be in a backup role, but Dante Bellflower made a lot of plays at corner. The 2 transfers are not under the radar players, but Corey Gaynor and and you start looking at Noah Taylor. Those two guys have played a lot of football, and they've played really well, so we think they'll be a big help. Bryson Nesbitt's a guy that's going to step out. There's going to be a receiver step out, Taylor, and I'm not sure who it is yet. You know, you've got a group of guys outside of Josh and Antoine Green, but is it JJ? Is it Kobe? Is it Gavin? Who is it that's going to step up? Is it Andre Green coming in? Because we don't talk about the new guys. How will Petaway step up, and will he be a role player, or will he get more time than that at running back? What about Omari and Hampton? We haven't seen him yet. So there's a lot of guys that are going to get here in 2 or 3 weeks that could really make a difference. And then you talk about the 2 Ohio State transfers as well. So we've got a lot of pieces to look at in preseason that could make a huge difference in the fall.
I'm glad you mentioned Bryson Nesbitt, fitting that we're in the Queen City. Every time I watch Bryson Nesbitt, I'm like, this guy is a mismatch all over the field. But Coach Brown, appreciate the time.
Thank you, Taylor.